Farm unions write to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, seek resumption of dialogue to end agitation. Farm leaders appeal to protesters to postpone dharna on borders due to the pandemic. Union Education Minister to discuss conduct of Class 12 exams and professional courses entrance exams with all states and union territories tomorrow. Union Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will chair the meeting. Major cyber attack against Air India, a decade-old personal details of passengers stolen. National carrier initiates investigation against the security breach. Resets passwords of Air India frequent flyer passenger program. India again sets a new record with highest ever 20.66 lakh tests conducted in the last 24 hours. More than 20 lakh daily tests being conducted for 4 successive days. Daily positivity rate declines to 12.45%. Daily recoveries outnumber daily new cases for the 9th consecutive day. Less than 3 lakh daily new cases for 6 consecutive days. Cyclonic storm brews in Bay of Bengal. Indian Coast Guard initiates pre-emptive measures on eastern coast as cyclone Yaas approaches. Coastal districts of Odisha on high alert. Nepalese President Vidya Devi Bhandari dissolves House of Representatives, announces polls on the 12th of November and the 19th. Also denies claims by both Sher Bahadur Doiba and KP Sharma Oli for Prime Ministership. The US calls for two-state solution in the Israel-Palestine conflict, welcomes ceasefire, discusses measures for better future of Palestinians and Israelis. US President Joe Biden reaffirms unwavering commitment and support to Israel. Namaskar, you're the latest here on DD India and DD News. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, the Sanyukt Kisan Morcha has written to Prime Minister Modi urging resumption of talks over the 3 farm laws they've been agitating against at Delhi's borders since November last year. Several rounds of talks between farmers and the government have failed to break the deadlock over the 3 central legislations. A government panel had met farmer leaders on the 22nd of January. There have been no talks between the 2 sides since the 26th of January when the tractor rally turned violent. The farmers' body has said that they don't want any farmer to get exposed to the health hazards of the coronavirus pandemic. It has urged the government to reinstate and reinitiate a dialogue with the protesting farmers. Now, in view of the rising mucormycosis or black fungus cases, Union Minister for Chemical and Fertilizers D.V. Sadanand Gowda has announced that a total of 23,680 additional vials of Amphotericin B have been allocated to all states and union territories today. Sadanand Gowda tweeted, and I quote, "After a detailed review of rising number of cases of mucormycosis in various states, a total of 23,680 additional vials of Amphotericin B have been allocated to all states and union territories today. The allocation has been made based on total number of patients, which is approximately 8,848 across the country. Cases of mucormycosis or black fungus have surged in India, mostly among COVID-19 patients. The Union Minister has also informed that the allocation has been made based on total number of patients, which is, like it was said earlier, 8,848 across the country. And also in other important news, Union Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will be chairing a high-level virtual meeting tomorrow with all state education ministers and other stakeholders to discuss the proposals for the conduct of exams for Class 12 and entrance examinations for professional courses. The meeting will be attended by Union Minister for Education Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank, Union Minister for Women and Child Welfare Smriti Zubin Irani, and Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting Prakash Javadekar. Union Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank has written to states and union territories. He has said that the centre and CBSE are exploring options regarding the conduct of the exams. The Department of Higher Education is also deliberating upon the finalization of the dates of exams for institutions of higher learning. To reduce uncertainty among students, it's desirable that a considered decision is taken about Class 12 CBSE examinations in the interest of all students across the country. And the crucial meeting is, let's get more on that. In fact, Nishant, my colleague, joins us on the phone line. Nishant, if you can tell us what really is the agenda that will be really put out for all the ministers of states, really of education ministers, to be considered. What are the likely proposals from the centre going to be?
गौतम, देखिए, आपको मालूम है कि जो सीबीएसई बोर्ड की 12वीं की परीक्षाएं हैं वो पोस्टपोन हो चुकी हैं, स्थगित हो चुकी हैं, और जो 10वीं की जो परीक्षा होनी थी उनको कैंसिल किया जा चुका है। तो जो 12वीं की परीक्षाएं जो कि पोस्टपोन हो चुकी हैं, अब उनके बारे में ये पहले सरकार की ओर से कहा गया था कि 1 जून को इस पर कोई डिसीजन लिया जाएगा। जो अभी कोरोना की स्थिति को ध्यान में रखते हुए 1 जून को डिसीजन होगा कि कैसे इन परीक्षाओं को लेना और कब लेना है। तो ऐसे में अब छात्रों के बीच भी काफी इस इशू को लेकर कंफ्यूजन है कि क्या जो क्लास 12 बोर्ड की परीक्षाएं होंगी या नहीं होंगी, अगर होंगी तो कब होंगी। तो इसी कंफ्यूजन को दूर करने के मकसद से कल काफी एक हाई लेवल मीटिंग बुलाई गई है। और जैसा कि आपको मालूम है कि प्रधानमंत्री ने भी पहले कहा है कि इस इशू पे कोई भी डिसीजन लेने से पहले सभी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट और जो भी स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं, चाहे वो स्टूडेंट्स हैं, टीचर हैं या पेरेंट्स हैं, इन सब से कंसल्टेशन, एक व्यापक विचार विमर्श करना जरूरी है। तो इसी के मद्देनजर कल काफी इम्पोर्टेंट मीटिंग बुलाई गई है, जिसको कि डिफेंस मिनिस्टर राजनाथ सिंह चेयर करेंगे, और इसमें 3 अन्य मंत्री, शिक्षा मंत्री रमेश पोखरियाल निशंक, विमेन एंड चाइल्ड डेवलपमेंट मंत्री स्मृति जुबिन ईरानी और सूचना एवं प्रसारण मंत्री प्रकाश जावड़ेकर, ये तीनों इस वर्चुअल मीटिंग में शामिल होंगे। ये एक वर्चुअल मीटिंग है जो कि कल 11:30 बजे बुलाई गई है, और इसमें सभी राज्य के जो राज्य और केंद्र शासित प्रदेश, जो यूनियन टेरिटरीज हैं, उनके एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर इसमें शामिल होंगे, जो एजुकेशन सेक्रेटरी हैं वो सब इसमें शामिल होंगे, और अन्य जो भी स्टेट एग्जाम बोर्ड है, जो राज्य परीक्षा बोर्ड है, उन सब के जो चेयरपर्सन हैं वो इसमें शामिल होंगे। तो एक काफी इम्पोर्टेंट मीटिंग है, क्योंकि इसी में सभी जो स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं, चूंकि सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट अकेले खुद डिसीजन नहीं ले सकती है, क्योंकि हर राज्य में कोविड की परिस्थिति अलग अलग है। तो ऐसे में हर राज्य के साथ विचार विमर्श करना जरूरी है, क्योंकि जो सीबीएसई की जो बोर्ड परीक्षाएं होती हैं, 12वीं की परीक्षा हो, चाहे जो अन्य जो प्रोफेशनल कोर्सेज के लिए एंट्रेंस एग्जाम होते हैं, चाहे वो जेई की परीक्षा हो, चाहे वो नीट की परीक्षा हो, तो ये एक पैन इंडिया एग्जाम है। सभी राज्यों में ये एक परीक्षा होती है, ऐसा नहीं है कि किसी एक राज्य में ही परीक्षा होनी है। तो सभी राज्यों में परीक्षा होनी है। तो ऐसे में अगर परीक्षा को कंडक्ट करवाना है तो सभी राज्यों के साथ विचार विमर्श करना होगा और सभी राज्यों की स्थिति का सही आकलन करना होगा। तो ऐसे में ये इसी को देखते हुए ये महत्वपूर्ण बैठक बुलाई गई है। और आपको याद होगा कि पिछले दिनों जो एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर रमेश पोखरियाल निशंक हैं, उन्होंने भी पिछले 17 मई को इस मुद्दे पर सभी राज्यों के एजुकेशन सेक्रेटरीज के साथ, जो स्कूल एजुकेशन सेक्रेटरीज के साथ भी एक मीटिंग की थी। तो अब इस मीटिंग इसी कड़ी को और आगे बढ़ाते हुए एक हाई लेवल मीटिंग की जा रही है, और निश्चित तौर पर ये काफी महत्वपूर्ण निर्णय होगा, क्योंकि ये बहुत जरूरी है कि जो छात्रों के बीच जो कंफ्यूजन है उसको जल्द से जल्द दूर किया जाए। गौतम,
तो निशांत, इसे लेकर विकल्प क्या है अभी?
जी देखिए, अभी जिस तरह की स्थिति है, देश में कोविड की स्थिति है, तो अभी ये नहीं कहा जा सकता कि एक नियर फ्यूचर में परीक्षाएं आयोजित की जा सकती हैं। और दूसरी बात ये भी है कि इन परीक्षाओं को काफी लंबे समय तक के लिए टाला भी नहीं जा सकता है, क्योंकि 12वीं की जो बोर्ड परीक्षाएं होती हैं वो काफी महत्वपूर्ण परीक्षा होती है, और इसके आधार पर ही छात्र जो हायर एजुकेशन के लिए दाखिला लेते हैं, विभिन्न प्रोफेशनल कोर्सेज के लिए दाखिला लेते हैं, देश और यहाँ तक कि विदेश के जो हायर एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं वहाँ पे एडमिशन के लिए अप्लाई करते हैं, वहाँ दाखिला लेते हैं। इसके अलावा जो जेईई और नीट जैसी परीक्षाएं हैं उनमें वो भी छात्रों के करियर को देखते हुए काफी महत्वपूर्ण होती हैं। और चाहे वो इंजीनियरिंग के कोर्सेज में दाखिला लेना है या मेडिकल के कोर्सेज में दाखिला लेना है, उसके लिए ये परीक्षाएं भी काफी महत्वपूर्ण है। तो इन परीक्षाओं को काफी लंबे समय तक के लिए टाला नहीं जा सकता है। तो ऐसे में परीक्षाओं को अगर आयोजित करना है तो समय पर आयोजित करना होगा। तो आपको याद है गौतम, पिछले साल भी जो 12वीं की परीक्षाएं और 10वीं की परीक्षाएं 1 से 15 जुलाई के बीच ही होनी थी, क्यों? और उस समय चूंकि परिस्थिति ऐसी नहीं बन पाई थी कि परीक्षाएं आयोजित की जा सके, तो जो बची हुई परीक्षाएं थी उनको कैंसिल कर दिया गया था। तो ऐसे में अब चूंकि निर्णय की घड़ी आ गई है, तो ज्यादा से ज्यादा आप कुछ दिनों के लिए, या अगर परिस्थिति अच्छी हो तो जुलाई महीने तक परीक्षाएं आयोजित की जा सकती हैं। तो इन परीक्षाओं की तिथियों को लेकर ही एक विचार विमर्श किया जाएगा, क्योंकि परीक्षाएं ऑफलाइन ही होनी है। जो 12वीं की जो परीक्षाएं हैं,
अच्छा, ऑनलाइन विकल्प नहीं है,
वो ऑफलाइन ही परीक्षा होनी है, ऑनलाइन विकल्प पर विचार नहीं किया गया है। हमने शिक्षा मंत्रालय में बात की है तो उन्होंने इस बात को डिनाई किया है कि ऑफलाइन परीक्षाएं आयोजित नहीं की जा सकती हैं। शिक्षा मंत्री ने भी पहले ही ये साफ साफ कह दिया था कि चूंकि 12वीं की परीक्षाएं सभी देश के सभी राज्यों में, दूर दराज के इलाकों में भी आयोजित होती है, जहां पर अभी इंटरनेट की कनेक्टिविटी या इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर उतना नहीं है कि ऑनलाइन परीक्षाएं कंडक्ट करवाई जा सके। तो ऐसे में ऑनलाइन परीक्षा के विकल्प पर विचार नहीं किया गया है 12वीं की परीक्षाओं को। तो अब चूंकि ऑफलाइन परीक्षाएं आयोजित होनी है, तो ऐसे में जब तक महामारी की जो स्थिति है वो नियंत्रण में नहीं आएगी, तब तक ऑफलाइन परीक्षाएं आयोजित करवा पाना कितना फिजिबल होगा, इसी पर विचार किया जाना है। और अगर परीक्षाएं नहीं हो सकती हैं तो उसके लिए क्या अन्य विकल्प होगा। अगर परीक्षाएं रद्द होती हैं तो कैसे छात्रों को पास किया जाएगा, उनको प्रोन्नत किया जाएगा, प्रमोट किया जाएगा, इन सब चीजों पर विचार विमर्श किया जाना है।
जी निशांत, it is quite a vexing issue to figure out how, if at all, to hold these exams or not, because if they are not held, then it really impacts the future of a whole generation really, which is to sit for these crucial exams, because they determine the path forward. Those who want to study further, it really determines their path forward, their careers and their lives. And we'll have to wait and see what sort of discussions take place at the crucial meeting tomorrow, Nishant. I'm sure we'll keep in touch with you on that as well in the coming 24 hours or so. Thanks a lot for joining us for the time being. So that was my colleague Nishant Saurabh with all the information related to this crucial meeting that will determine what will be the course of the so far postponed Class 12 CBSE exams and so many other board exams for the 12th standard as well as along with that a lot of competitive exams that were to be held during this period itself for students to choose their further course of learning, but for now have been kept in abeyance because of the pandemic. Okay, moving on. Several thousand coronavirus patients in India have contracted a deadly and aggressive fungal infection, compounding the country's troubles as it reels from the pandemic. Mucormycosis, also known as black fungus infection, is not a new disease. Such infections were reported even before the pandemic. Its incidence, however, was very low. Now, due to COVID-19, this rare but fatal fungal infection is being reported in large numbers. Let's learn what we can do to protect ourselves and our dear and near ones from this deadly disease. Well, medicines used in treating COVID-19 tend to bring down the count of lymphocytes. Lymphocytes are one of the 3 types of white blood cells which defend our bodies against disease-causing pathogens such as bacteria, viruses and parasites. The reduced count of lymphocytes makes way for opportunistic fungal infections. Now, there is a higher chance of occurrence of mucormycosis or black fungus in patients whose immune system is not functioning properly. And since COVID-19 treatment tends to suppress the working of the immune system, it places such patients at a higher risk of contracting the black fungus infection. Now, what are the preventive measures to be taken by COVID-19 patients? Well, people with following medical conditions should be more careful. They should constantly monitor their health and also take the following preventive measures. One, of course, is diabetic patient with uncontrolled diabetes, also steroid usage, plus COVID positive. All three combined together places one under high risk of getting mucormycosis. Hence, diabetic patients should always monitor and control their blood sugar level. Another rising concern is that of misuse of steroids that directly affects one's immune system. It's advised that if a COVID-infected person's oxygen saturation level is normal and he or she is categorized as clinically mild, steroids should be completely avoided. And what are the preventive measures that could be followed as well? Well, cleaning and replacement of humidifiers for those using oxygen concentrators should be practiced. Sterile normal saline should be used in the humidifier bottle and changed daily. And lastly, masks should be disinfected daily as well. It's also advised that if anybody notices pain and redness around their eyes and nose, fever, epistaxis, that is bleeding from the nose, nasal or sinus congestion, headache, cough, shortness of breath, vomiting of blood, altered mental status and partial loss of vision, they should not miss these minor symptoms. Now, with more than 20.66 lakh tests conducted in the last 24 hours, India has again set a new record of highest tests conducted in a day. This is also the fourth successive day of more than 20 lakh tests in India. The daily positivity rate has declined to 12.45%. Cumulatively, 20,66,285 tests have been conducted in the last 24 hours in the country. And in addition to this, India's daily recoveries continue to outnumber the daily new cases for the 9th consecutive day. 3,57,630 recoveries have been registered in the last 24 hours. Also, India's cumulative recoveries have reached 2,30,70,365 today. And the national recovery rate has grown further to touch 87.76%. In another positive development, India has recorded less than 3 lakh daily new cases for 6 consecutive days now. To be precisely 2,57,299 daily new cases, these have been registered in the last 24 hours. On the other hand, India's total active case load has decreased to 29,23,400 today. Now, BJP has lambasted the Congress leadership for trying to create unnecessary confusion about the efficacy of Indian vaccines and giving irresponsible statements about the virus variants, calling them Indian virus. Senior BJP leader and Union Minister Prakash Javadekar has said that certain statements about the pandemic by Congress leader Kamal Nath are also an insult to the country. He also clarified that the centre is already working on a war footing to secure vaccines and necessary drugs to fight the pandemic.
कांग्रेस नेता कमलनाथ ने कहा कि इंडियन कोरोना, भारतीय कोरोना, कुछ लोग इंडियन वेरिएंट कहते थे, ये तो इंडियन कोरोना कह रहे हैं। और उन्होंने आगे कहा, यहाँ रुके नहीं, उन्होंने कहा हमारी पहचान मेरा भारत कोविड। कांग्रेस के बयान क्या कहते हैं? ये कहते हैं कि देश का तो अपमान है ही, लेकिन देश की कोरोना के खिलाफ जो लड़ाई है वो कमजोर कर रहे हैं। सोनिया जी, बताइए कि कांग्रेस ऐसी नकारात्मक राजनीति क्यों कर रही है और आज कमलनाथ ने जो कहा इसके आपने अभी तक भर्त्सना क्यों नहीं की?
Madhya Pradesh has decided to increase the corona curfew in the state capital Bhopal till the 31st of May. MP Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan also held a review meeting with state officials. He later said that considering the decline in the new cases, strict restrictions will be gradually lifted in the state in a phased manner starting the 1st of June. The state government will soon issue necessary instructions in this regard.
हम अनंत काल तक बंद नहीं रख सकते। दुनिया भी हमको चलानी है, इसलिए हम अपनी स्ट्रेटजी पर विचार करके, क्योंकि 1 जून से हमको धीरे धीरे अनलॉक करना है। जो जिले सिंगल डिजिट में है उनके बारे में मैं आज अलग भी चर्चा कर लूंगा। क्या वहां कुछ चीजें उसके पहले भी हम खोलने का फैसला ले सकते हैं, मैं बाद में चर्चा करूंगा।
And in Uttar Pradesh, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath visited Saifai Medical College in Etawah. He also interacted with the patients there, and later he held a review meeting with health officials. Now, acting on the advice of experts, the Karnataka government has extended lockdown till the 7th of June. Chief Minister Yediyurappa, seeking people's cooperation, underscored the need for COVID-appropriate behavior of wearing face masks in public places, maintaining hygiene and social distancing. He further added there will be no restrictions on interstate and intrastate movement of persons as permitted by the revised guidelines, and there will be unrestricted and smooth movement of all types of goods, including empty goods vehicles. The state has also decided to give free treatment to patients suffering from black fungus in government hospitals. Kerala has also extended lockdown till the 30th of May. Triple lockdown has been lifted from Thiruvananthapuram, Ernakulam and Thrissur as the cases have been steadily declining there, where stringent restrictions will stay in Mamlapuram. And if you talk about Goa, it has extended the lockdown there till the 31st of May. The state had announced statewide curfew on the 9th of May after a surge in cases was witnessed there. And the decision to extend the period of ongoing lockdown has come after yesterday's cabinet meeting. Goa Chief Minister Pramod Sawant has decided to form a 15-member special task force and an experts committee to tackle and prepare for a possible third wave of the global pandemic. The CM will head the STF, while Health Minister will be deputy in charge. The Ladakh administration has also increased curfew in Leh and Kargil districts. The curfew has been extended by 14 days in Leh and for 7 days in Kargil. Now, during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, major focus has been on quick and smooth transportation of liquid oxygen to various parts of the country. Existing rules say only trained drivers with adequate training and having hazardous cargo license are allowed to operate liquid oxygen trucks. Therefore, there is an urgent need to make available a large pool of trained drivers who can replace the existing drivers, keeping in mind 24/7 operations. The Ministry of Road Transport and Highways has advised states and union territories to create a pool of trained drivers, and 500 such trained drivers are to be made available immediately, and the number of drivers is to be increased to 2,500 in the next 2 months. The centre has further suggested quickly skilling drivers with training in handling hazardous chemicals and LMO handling through a short program and apprenticeship. Skill HMV license holders in hazardous chemicals and LMO handling through short 3 to 4 days of program and apprenticeship. The centre has also advised that LOX tanker drivers may be facilitated with a special COVID vaccination drive and given priority in admission and treatment in hospitals. Now, a Bangalore-based startup has developed a novel point-of-care electrochemical ELISA test that enables fast and accurate estimation of total antibody concentration of COVID-19 in clinical samples. Path Shodh Healthcare, the startup incubated at the Indian Institute of Science, has developed the first of its kind kit. The test kit has come in 2 parts. One is the handheld analyzer, which reads the blood sample and gives a detailed report, and the other is a test strip where a drop of blood from one's fingertip is inserted into the device. The test is not only useful as a routine serosurvey tool to establish a previous infection, but even more importantly as a quantifier of antibodies to address such critical questions as the rate of fading of antibodies and in general understanding of biological responses that depend on the quantity of antibodies, such as the efficacy of vaccines in generating antibodies and vaccine breakthroughs. This novel technology can work with venous or capillary whole blood sample as well as serum sample. Now, in view of the cyclonic storm in the Bay of Bengal, Indian Coast Guard has initiated preemptive measures on eastern coast. Indian Coast Guard ships and aircraft on east coast have relayed weather warning to mariners and fishermen at sea. Meanwhile, all shipping ports, fisheries, oil rigs and other shore authorities have also been informed about the likelihood of the cyclone. Odisha has put all coastal and adjoining districts in the state on high alert. The state administration is geared up to meet the eventuality of cyclone Yaas. All concerned departments, including electricity companies, rural and urban water supply departments, health departments, Odisha Disaster Response Force and NDRF teams have been put on alert to be in readiness with manpower as well as materials. Fisheries departments, through their warning systems, have also brought back the fishermen who were at sea, except for 39 persons who are also expected to come back by Saturday. 2 airlines and ships of the Indian Coast Guard, Paradeep, are patrolling in the sea to guide ships, fishing boats to come to the shore well before the cyclone hits. Now, in the last few days, ever since the beautiful photos clicked of the moon went viral on social media, Prathamesh Jaju's phone hasn't stopped buzzing. The 16-year-old Pune lad has become an internet sensation for clicking one of the clearest pictures of the last quarter mineral moon. The youngster has a keen interest in astrophotography and aspires to become an astronomer. It took him around 40 hours and 50,000 images to get this one picture. Take a look at these stunning images. It's only true passion that produces such gems. That's all we have for the moment in this edition of the news, but all the latest continues right here on DD News and DD India. Stay tuned.